To most people, this sounds counterintuitive, but spending less time in the gym will actually get you better results, will actually make your physique look better and therefore improve your attractiveness with women. Now, I was the type of guy before, when I first started up till the first year of lifting weights, who would spend 2 to 3 hours in the gym per day, like literally 6 or 7 days a week, right? And the results that I was getting at the time were not indicative of the amount of effort that I was putting into the gym. Of course, I made some progress. I was just a new lifter, right? But definitely not worth the amount of effort, the amount of time and sacrifice that I was actually putting into the gym. The perceived time investment in order to get a great looking physique, the amount of hours that you have to train in order to get a top 1% physique like myself is often far from the reality, far from what a lot of people think it has to be. People don't believe me when I say that I train for like 35 to 45 minutes per session, 4 to 5 times a week. And that's all I do when it comes to lifting weights. They think there's no way you look the way you look whilst putting in what they would consider to be quite a low amount of effort, but it's true. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly the way I train in order to get much better results than most people whilst putting in like half the time, half the effort. It's not really half the effort, but it seems that way to a lot of people. When it comes to lifting weights, you don't have to put in more hours. You don't have to put in more time investment in order to look better than a lot of people. You don't have to work harder like a donkey, right? This is about working smarter, and that's the way that you're going to become more attractive in the most sustainable way possible, whilst again putting in less time than everyone else and having that time free to go and do other things that are going to make you more attractive, playing sports and talking to women and doing the things that are going to improve your lifestyle, rather than putting in all your spare time, effort and energy into the gym. A lot of people who start the gym and are really motivated to get a good physique as fast as humanly possible tend to overdo it. They go into the gym 6 days a week, doing 2 hours per session, and this is just too much. Not only is it getting you worse results, like literally worse results with your physique because it's just too much for your body to handle, can't recover, but you also kill your opportunities outside of the gym. When you go into the gym 6 days a week, 2 hours a session, like I did in the past, like I've been a victim to this mindset as well. You don't have time to see friends. You don't have time to talk to people. You don't have time to do other things that are going to allow you to become more attractive. All your spare mental energy and physical energy is going into the gym, going into training. You might not even be training that hard within the session, but you're just spending so much time there that it just drains you physically, mentally, even emotionally, right? A lot of people don't even begin going to the gym in the first place, don't even start lifting weights because they believe that the effort in order to get a good physique is just too much. It's just too much to go through. They think that you have to go to the gym 2 hours a day for 7 days a week. And that's far from the reality. Now, obviously, those types of people have a soft type of mindset anyway. Even if that was the case, it would still be worth it to get an attractive physique, right? But it's just quite ironic that that's not the way that it has to be. You can actually put in a lot less time, a lot less perceived effort by other people and still look 10 times better than the average person. When you're trying to build an attractive physique and then obviously leverage it to improve your social and your dating life, you don't want to become that gym bro that has to spend 3 hours a day, 7 days a week in the gym, takes their fucking protein shake with them to the date, right? It's never that deep. You want to become the type of person that just fits the gym into their lifestyle. Obviously, you still take it serious. You go there, you train hard, but it's 4 or 5 times a week and you have the energy to do it. When you overdo something, for example, when I was going to the gym 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, at the start, I liked it. I like going to the gym. I still like going to the gym, obviously, but once I started doing it too much, too often, every single day, it started to drain me so much that I kind of started to dread going to the gym. That's not what you want. When you dread going to the gym, you can still have the discipline to go anyways, but it starts to become such a detriment to your life that a lot of people just quit. They stop going, and that's, if you stop going to the gym, then you don't build that physique. That's obvious, right? So when you do something just enough to get the results, get almost like basically the maximum results out of it, but where you don't go that much that you don't have any energy for it anymore. Honestly, like if I go on a date, which I've done before every single day for 7 days straight, by the end of that week, I'm checked out. I don't want to go on another date for a month. And obviously the experience is not that good anymore. I'm just bored. I have no energy for it. When I limit myself to, 1 or 2 a week, 1 or 2 dates a week, then I'm looking forward to it. I have energy and it comes across better with the girl. I have a better vibe. It's just more fun overall. It's honestly quite similar with the gym. If you do it too much, too often, too fast, too hard initially, then you're going to get checked out. And a lot of people quit because of this reason. They just do too much, or they, and they don't see the results as well. They start taking steroids and shit like that. And that's not what has to happen for you. If you go too deep into the gym obsession, then you just start going to the gym for the sake of it, for the sake of being in the gym. Your life is just more heavily skewed towards being there. Now, if that's what you want, that's fine. But most guys don't want that. They don't actually just want to lift the weights for the sake of it. They more want the byproducts of lifting weights, of having an attractive physique, being more attractive, having more women, being more confident, those types of things. So don't start to get it backwards. Also, more practically, when you're going to the gym too much, doing too many exercises, too many sets, too many days in the gym, you're going to drive up your appetite. You're going to be hungrier, which means it's going to be less likely that you're in a caloric deficit, which you probably need to be to lose body fat. Well, obviously you need to be in a caloric deficit to lose body fat, but you personally probably need to be in a caloric deficit to lose body fat, because there's most likely like 99.9% chance you're not 8 to 12% body fat, which is going to be the ideal range if you want to have an attractive physique. That's even more important than building muscle in the gym. Of course, building muscle in the gym is important. I'm going to give you the split, the exercises to do that. But being lean is more important than that. When you're lean, your face is chiseled, dialed in, your abs are showing, you've got veins, vascularity everywhere. You're just looking like a fucking model. So make sure that that's the priority, rather than going to the gym too much and trying to build muscle when it's actually being lean. That's going to allow you to reap the rewards much more so. Now, for training in the gym without spending all day there, I'd recommend for you to do, and this is what I do, an upper lower rest. That's the split that I use, right? Upper lower rest, repeat that endlessly, repeat that without skipping days endlessly to get the best results, right? Or you could just take weekends off. So it would end up being upper on Monday, lower on Tuesday, Wednesday's a rest day, upper on Thursday, lower on Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. You can do that as well. There's enough rest days there for optimal recovery. There's enough time to fit in social events and things of that nature. You have enough energy left over to actually attack the sessions properly. Because when you go in every day for a few hours, draining yourself, you don't have anywhere near as an effective workout, because your CNS is fried, your body is fatigued, all these things that come from just overtraining. As for the workouts themselves, the way you make the session shorter while still providing maximum results is by choosing one exercise per muscle group and then doing just 2 sets till failure on it. That's all you need. You don't need 5 exercises with 6 sets each, hopping from machine to machine for the same muscle group like a monkey, like a lot of people do. Just do one exercise for a muscle group, 2 sets till failure. That's going to get you basically the maximum results for that session. So for example, for me, if I'm doing a lat pull down, that's the exercise I choose for my lats, right? Let's say I'm doing that. A lat pull down, 2 sets till failure. That's it for the lats for that session. That's it. Then I move on to a lateral raise, 2 sets till failure, done. Then I move on to my upper chest, the Smith machine incline press, 2 sets till failure, done. And then I do my upper back and my rear delts as well. That would be like an upper day for me. And then for my lower day, I do my arms first, so I'm not cramming too many exercises into the upper day. So I'll do 1 exercise for biceps, 1 for triceps, and then I'll do 1 exercise for quads, hamstrings, adductors, and abs. That's it for the lower day. So in total, this is like 6 exercises on the lower day and 5 on the upper day. So it's like 35 to 45 minutes per session. This sounds like hyper low volume, right? Just 2 sets, that's it. Over the week, it's like 4 to 6 sets, depending if I'm working out 4 or 5 days in that week, right? This is more than enough. This is literally all you need. You can even get away with less than this, especially if you're like a beginner in the gym, right? You can definitely even get away with less than this, get even lower volume. For me, this is an optimal amount of volume. I'm working hard. I'm working intensely for the sets that I'm doing. Every single set is intense. Every single set is until failure. Most people in the gym, even the ones who are doing, 15 sets per muscle group per session, they're not working with any sort of intensity, because you literally can't. You'll just injure yourself. You'll kill yourself if you try to do 15 sets until failure. So make sure you're training intensely. Make sure you're doing low volume that's going to allow you to recover consistently with the split. You don't skip days in the gym, because then you're not going to see results. Training this way, you're going to get better results than most people, but with fewer exercises, with less overall time in the gym. Like I said, people literally don't believe me when I tell them what I do in the gym. When someone comes up to me in the gym, which happens like literally every session, and they'll ask me, for example, yo bro, what do you do for your lats? Let's say, what do you do for your lats? And I just say, yeah, I just do 2 sets of lat pull down. And they'll be like, what do you mean just 2 sets? Yeah, just 2 sets of lat pull down. And they'll be like, oh, so you don't do a pull up and then a lat bias row and then a fucking unicorn row and then a dumbbell rows, and then no, I just do 2 sets of the same exercises every single session consistently for months on end. And that's what actually gets you the results. People don't like to hear it. People don't like to hear the hard work. People don't like to hear the boring work, the simple work that you have to put in consistently over several months whilst keeping your sleep and nutrition in check as well. But that's literally what gets you results. You don't have to switch exercises every single session. You don't have to switch routines and workouts and splits every single session. You just have to do the same thing, make it as simple and as sustainable as possible, make it intense, make it so it actually does produce a muscle growth stimulus. And you just do that for a long period of time. Don't give up and you will have the physique. It's as simple as that. Not only are you going to look better, but you're going to feel better as well when you're recovered, when you're doing just enough to stimulate muscle growth to get you the result that you want, but not so much that you're damaging your muscles unnecessarily, where you're frying your nervous system with too many sets and too many exercises and too many days in the gym. What feeling better is honestly very underrated. People will force themselves to go to the gym, and that's because they're overtrained. When you are fully recovered, you want to go to the gym. You have a lot of energy to actually put into an effective session. The mental clarity that you get from not being chronically fatigued is very important. And of course, sleep is a massive part of that as well. So make sure you get in a minimum of 8 hours a night, closer to 10 if possible. But a lot of people will cut into their sleep time to go to the gym. And that's not the way. I've done it before, quite a lot to be honest, but that's not the way if you want the best results. Ideally, you're going to go to the gym for say 45 minutes and then you have another extra hour and a half or something to sleep, which is going to get you better results in the long run. Your mood and your energy is going to improve when you're not overtrained. Like literally your personality will improve when you're not overtrained. I remember when I used to overtrain, when I was spending 2 hours a day in the gym for 6 days, I would not want to talk to anybody. You come back from the gym and that's it. You're done for the day. You do the bare minimum even if you have work or whatever, you do the bare minimum because you're not functioning optimally. You've just done too much. When you're doing just enough to stimulate muscle growth, but you still have enough energy to do other things, overall, every other aspect of your life gets better. You want to talk to people, you have more energy for work, you have more motivation to actually go and do things that are going to improve your life more so than going to the gym for 2 hours will. Your training should be focused, it should be purposeful. You have a plan, you go into the gym and you execute it intensely and then you leave. It's as simple as that. You do that consistently, you build a great physique. A lot of people go into the gym, they have no idea what they're doing. They go into the gym, they choose a random machine, whatever they feel like for the day. They do a few, let's say they do 20 reps, but they're 15 reps away from failure. And of course, after a few years of doing that, they still look the same because they haven't executed a plan that they've created for themselves with purpose. They just do whatever they feel like on the day and then they get mediocre results as a result of their mediocre training. To track your workouts so you don't become like those people, use an app called Strong. I've just been using that for years, STRONG. That's going to allow you to plan your workout templates, plan your workouts and track your progressive overload. That's one thing that you need to be doing if you want to see good progress in the gym. Track your progressive overload. So make sure that every single workout, or at least every single week, you're increasing in reps or strength. Now it's easy for us because we're training till failure, right? So if you're doing an exercise and you get 5 reps and that was the moment that you failed, you couldn't do a 6th rep, like physically you could not, then the next workout, you should probably be able to do 6 reps, or definitely the workout after that, you should be able to do 6 reps. And you know that easily because you're working until failure. So when you're working until failure, you will see that naturally you're just going to progressively overload. You're going to see progressive overload as a result of training hard. And then once you reach the top of the rep range, so for me, I do 4 to 8 reps. Once I get 8 reps with a weight, that's when I increase it to bring me back down to 4 or 5. And then because I'm working till failure, again, I just keep doing that every session, every week until I reach the top of the rep range. And then I increase the weight again. And that's genuine. That's just how you build muscle, nice and simply. You don't need to worry that technically training less is going to lead to worse results in the gym. It's directly the opposite. Training less, just doing enough to get the muscle growth stimulus whilst causing the least amount of muscular damage possible is going to allow you to recover for your next session, and obviously causing the least amount of central nervous system fatigue as well. You're going to recover well for your next session. You're going to be able to lift intensely every single session, and you're going to stimulate that muscle growth over and over and over, and that's what's going to allow you to build muscle nice and consistently, see progressive overload nice and consistently, and get that physique as quickly as possible. Make sure you're prioritizing the muscles that are going to make you more attractive, so your lats, your shoulders, your upper chest and your abs, since we're going for a sexy physique here, not a big gorilla type of physique, right? And then you're going to see the results. Take into account what I've said in the video, you're going to see the results. The average guy is like 25, 28% body fat. The average guy looks like shit. Once you lock in, once you take care of your diet, your sleep, the training to get a sexy physique, again, with minimal time investment. It honestly doesn't take as much as a lot of people think it does. You're gonna see how differently you get treated. You're gonna see how many more women are attracted to you, because once you get a nice physique, once you start to look better than the average man, and especially once you start to look considerably better than the average man, sometimes people can't believe what they're seeing. Like some girls, right? Okay, I'll give you an example. Some girl that I cracked last week, she said it's like the first time in 3 months that she's seen a guy with abs. How insane is that? It's the first time in 3 months that she's seen a guy with abs. That's quite sad to me, genuinely, because for me not to see my abs, I would have to be depressed. Like, I don't know, something so traumatic would have to happen for me to lose my abs. And even then, it would be so unlikely, because I have the self-respect to actually take care of myself to the level where I'm gonna look as best as I can at all times. Now, you don't want to be that type of person. You don't want to be the type of guy where when I crack a girl, she's saying to me, yeah, the last guy I was with, he didn't even have abs. You don't want to be that person. You want to be the guy who's with girls and they're thinking, wow, this guy is in shape. This guy has a sexy physique. This guy is looking amazing. This guy has his abs. So take into account what I've said in the video. You're going to see what I'm talking about. You need to get that sexy physique. You need to train hard. You need to train with intensity. And again, you need to train with intelligence, so you're not just spending loads of time spinning your wheels for no reason. If you do want more help to build an attractive physique, to go over a lot more things in detail, similar to the ones I've gone over in this video, check the top link in the description. That's my program where I'm gonna give you an attractive physique. I'm literally gonna give you an attractive physique. I'm gonna go over everything that you need, the diet, the training, nutrition, the mindset, all of that stuff, so you know exactly what you need to be doing to get that sexy type of physique that just has an amazing impact on your life. Check that top link in the description. You're going to get a lot of help from me. Ask me questions, anything you need in order to get you where you want to be.